Hey guys, Opie here. Welcome back to my Brew City Garden. Today's day 4 of the straw bale seasoning process. As you recall, yesterday we added a half a cup of high nitrogen fertilizer to each bale, and we had thunderstorms come in and that watered it in for me. Otherwise we would have put approximately 1 gallon of water in the bales. Thankfully we didn't have to do that. Today is day 4. On day 4, all we do is add the water, so approximately 1 gallon of water per bale. Again, lucky for me, not only did we have a strong thunderstorm move through last night and dumped a ton of rain, but afterwards we had several hours of steady rain throughout the morning, and possibly even some more to come today. So luckily for me, I don't have to do anything. I love it when Mother Nature takes over. It makes my job so much easier. But with that being said, I got a couple of other things that I would like to go over, some questions that I've got, and we'll discuss them today, and it should help you out a little bit. And remember, if you got any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. All right, guys, let's go take a look at a couple of things. Alright guys, so one question I get a lot is how close can you put these bales together? I've got mine set at approximately 5.5 feet apart from one side of the bale to the other side of the bale. I wouldn't recommend going any closer than that, because what's going to happen is right now there's no plants in there, everything looks fine, you can walk through, there's no problems. Once these plants start growing, they're going to grow like you won't believe. And they're gonna come in on each other, and you're gonna need a walkway to get in to do any minimal weeding that you have to do, and more importantly, harvesting, fertilizing, pruning, other upkeep. You need to leave enough room to get through there. And you'll find that even with 5.5 feet, sometimes it gets pretty tight. You don't wanna be stepping on your plants and beating everything up. And you'll see by the end of the season, that's exactly what's gonna happen. If I had more room, I would space my bales wider. I don't. 5.5 feet seems to be okay. It's not a big problem, and it works out just fine. I would not suggest placing your bales any closer. So another question I get fairly often is my trellising system. Why is it designed the way it is, and where can I get the components? The posts themselves, the green posts, you can find those at pretty much any construction type big box home improvement store. They're fairly inexpensive. They're only a couple of dollars a piece, maybe $3 a piece. So after you buy your post, another tool that I recommend that you pick up, these run about $20 at Lowe's or Home Depot, is a post driver. This is it's really going to save your back, and it's going to save your fingers. If you're trying to pound these posts in with, say, a sledgehammer or a hammer, it's not going to be very effective, and the chances of smashing a finger are probably pretty good. You get yourself a post driver, maybe your neighbor has one, but these things are invaluable for pounding these posts in. I definitely recommend these. So after you get your posts in, what you're gonna wanna do is put a support between the posts. In my case, I've got some old lumber that I'd had laying around in the garage, and it works just fine. And really you could use anything, PVC, wood, anything sturdy. And what I did here was just drilled a hole right here in the ends, and put a piece of steel wire, some lashing wire, or just some steel wire, anything will work, and tied it to the posts. And I did that on both sides. And what that's gonna do is, once there's a lot of weight on this trellis, it's gonna wanna pull these end posts inwards on each other. With this piece of wood, with this support here, that's gonna prevent those posts being pulled in on each other, it's going to make the whole thing far sturdier than it otherwise would be. Okay, and another question I get is, at the end of the season, these bales are broken down. Can you use them for a second year? In some cases, yes. Usually, probably not. For the first time, I am going to use these 3 bales here that were from last year, left over from last year, and I'm going to see how well it works out for me. Kind of more of an experiment. But more importantly, if I have 30 plus bales that are broken down throughout the season, well, what happens at the end of the season? What do I do with the leftover straw? And I came up with a simple solution for that, and it works out great. So at the rear of my property, I actually do have one small in-ground garden. It's approximately 10 feet wide by about 17, 18 feet long. This is where I put my spent bales from the year before. And what I'll do is I'll just pull the strings off of them and just kind of shake them apart inside this bed. And what happens is as the season progresses, these bales break down even more. And this is the most fertile garden I've ever had. You plant potatoes in here and you will have a harvest like you cannot believe. Really anything that you put in here, it's just gonna go crazy. These spent bales are the best fertilizer, the best soil builder I've ever found. And if you dig in here about 6 inches to a foot down, it's just this beautiful black, perfect soil, and it's full of earthworms, and it's so healthy. The only real problem that I have is it's so conducive to growth that there is some weeding that has to be done. Unfortunately, I've got some creeping Charlie here, and that stuff can get out of hand quickly, as you may know. So really, that's my biggest concern. So as far as these spent bales, what do I do with them? This is the perfect thing to do. If you have any room to put in an in-ground or a semi-permanent garden, load your old bales in there, and I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. Here's a pile of, I think it's 3 or 4 spent bales from last year that I kind of have it sitting underneath a tree here for now. And I've got a couple of bales that are sitting in my driveway from last year that I'm going to add to this. This spent straw, and I hate to even call it spent straw because this stuff is fantastic for growing. What I'm going to do with this is add it to containers and use it for container gardening. I've got specifically a 55-gallon drum that I'm going to cut in half, and I'm going to fill with this spent straw from last year and probably grow, I'm thinking sweet potatoes this year, just to see how well it works. But this stuff makes just an incredible potting mix. So don't let these things go to waste. And if you just want to start a compost pile somewhere on your property, off to the side, these bales will break down over the years, and even if it's just a compost, you're going to have some incredible compost in a couple of years. So don't let this stuff go to waste. Also, you can dress this into your flower beds, your landscaping. There's plenty of uses for this. So don't fret the spent bales. There's always something to do with them. We'll put them to good use. Okay guys, just to recap, day 4 of the straw bale seasoning process. Today we just add approximately 1 gallon of water to each bale and let it sit. Tomorrow we'll come back and we'll add a little more fertilizer and we'll repeat the process once again. Thanks again for joining me here. Be sure to stay tuned and come back tomorrow and for the rest of the season so you can see just how the straw bale garden works, how well it works. I think you'll be impressed and you'll want to try it yourself. All right, guys, until tomorrow, we'll see you. Hey, get out of my garden. Yeah, you. Hey, get. Squirrels.